Hello everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of The Joy of Being for busy working mums and women in business and beyond who are seeking to unplug from their worries and overwhelm to light up with insights and joy. I am Marina Pearson, your host, mum and effortless lifestyle coach. On this week's episode, we're doing things slightly differently. Welcome to the guest episode, where I support a special and busy mum in business and beyond to get insight into an area of her life that she feels stuck in. If you enjoyed the show or had any questions, why not connect with me on Instagram at Marina Pearson? Look out for the show's meme and make a comment there, or just click on my story and ask me a question. Alternatively, you can find me on the Joy of Being Facebook group. And today I've got some amazing news. You can now order your very own version of the Joy of Being book, supporting hardworking mums to stress less and live more. If you're the type of mum who is struggling with the burdens of motherhood or modern day life, then this will be a perfect book for you. If you're curious, you want to know more, and you want to see what's up with that book, you can do so at www.marinapearson.com/book. And on today's show, I have the beautiful Lucy Bainbridge. Lucy is a social media expert, helping people like me get my message out on Facebook and Instagram and doing Facebook ads. And one of the things that she came to me for in this coaching special was her worry around drinking too much. And during the conversation, we looked to see whether we could get some clarity around that for her in terms of the worry and whether or not she should just stop completely. But as all of these coaching conversations happen, things emerge and we find that the actual problem isn't really the problem. So she went from massive uncertainty into huge clarity around wanting to figure things out from a place that she can't. And by the end of the conversation, she felt really, really calm and really clear around the subject of her drinking and work and how to manage that all. So if you're a mum who is drinking, and if you're a mum who wants to figure it out, and if you're a mum who is struggling to fit work around baby life, then this is going to be an amazing episode for you. Enjoy. So welcome everybody, and today I have the beautiful Lucy Bainbridge on the show as a guest. But this episode is all about the special coaching episode. So welcome Lucy. Lovely to have you on.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for calling me beautiful. I always like being
So how come you wanted to come on today?
Well, I know that your kind of approach to coaching, the 3 principles approach to coaching, always has a way of making me see something differently and giving me relief on a subject, at least for a little while. And then you invited me and I said yes. So it's really, I could use it on a number of things in my life, but I think one at the moment is quite prevalent is drinking wine and not really knowing if, I can't seem to stay in a state of mind whether I should just relax about it and just let myself drink what I drink, which isn't that much at all really in comparison to some people. Or whether I need to give it up, because I never can stay in one mindset. Like, they're completely opposite and they always seem like rational whenever I'm in them. So I just don't like the battle that I seem to get into over it.
And what feels the most true for you right now?
At the moment, I feel like I just need to relax around it. That's what seems to be the one at the moment, because, well, the kind of the thinking that I have at the moment is that, well, when I've given up lots of other addictions in the past, smoking, cocaine, all sorts of drugs, used to just have a cocktail of drugs, smoke weed a lot, that kind of thing. And none of them went because I forced them to go. And so, but I then I realised, okay, it's probably not going to go the same way, the drinking. But sometimes I think that it really has a huge impact on my day-to-day well-being and how happy I could be, etc. And then I think, well, no one's perfect, you know, and at the moment I'm kind of like, oh, well, let's just live and let live kind of thing. But sometimes it gets so serious about it and I feel like I have to go to AA meetings and you know, it's that kind of backwards and forwards.
Right. So what I'm hearing is that there are moments where you're relaxed about it and it's like, okay, well, whatever. And then there are other times that you're actually taking it really seriously. And you feel...
Yeah, and they're kind of long periods of time in both. It's not like... But most of the time I think I should give it up. And I always think, oh my God, I've done this again. Every time I drink, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a bad person. I shouldn't have done it. I can't believe I've done this. So then I beat myself up a lot around it. At the moment, I'm not doing that so much. But probably about, you know, 80% of the time I am in this frame of mind, like, right, today is the day, I'm going to never drink again. And then not always have a drink that day or whatever, but I always end up having a glass of wine because I really like wine. So, and then I just go round and round and round. And I feel like I think about that more than I think about anything else in my life. And I think I'm probably more addicted to that than I am, you know, it's like it doesn't help that I have those thoughts, it feels like, because they're not changing anything and they just stress me out even more.
Right. So this sort of topic really consumes you quite a bit, does it?
Yeah, like I obsess about it.
Yeah, like what strikes me is, you know, we're only ever doing what makes sense to us, right? And
yeah,
I can only really share my experience about this, which is kind of interesting. So, you know, I used to drink a bottle of wine a night.
Yeah.
If not more. And it used to get me into a lot of trouble in terms of my relationships with my partners, because I used to get really pissed and then basically be really horrible.
Yeah.
To my other half. Yeah. Like really, really nasty.
Yeah.
And then not remember anything that I'd said.
Oh God, it's horrendous, isn't it?
So I knew that that's not something that I really wanted for them to experience. Like that was something that I knew. But what the clarity was around not wanting to kind of be with that behavior. That was very, very clear to me. And what was also clear to me is that I couldn't carry on doing that. I didn't want to do that anymore. So that was clear as well. And then I had Leo, and I physically couldn't. There was a sense of like, I just physically can't even drink like half a bottle of wine even. And what's really interesting is that over time, as I've got more quiet, that sort of I need a drink doesn't really come into it anymore. Like I'll have a drink now and again, but it's not something that plays much part in my life. You know, and I've just been on a detox retreat and then went out for dinner one night and had half a bottle of wine. But, you know, that there isn't a sense of like, I need another one today. So it's very much like, it's kind of fallen away on its own.
Yeah, that's what I know. that's what I keep waiting for.
Now you're like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?
Well, I'm aware that it can't. I just don't know how to stop obsessing, really, is the main thing. It's like, because, like, you know, it's not like everyone else thinks I need to stop either. You know, it's not like there's people on the outside going, Lucy, you really need to stop drinking or need to cut back, or anything like that going on around me. It's just all in my head. And I don't know whether it's because I've had such a history of addiction that I'm like, I have this feeling that I'll be like really happy, so much more happy if I didn't.
Well, that's definitely something you just don't know.
Well, at the moment, it's interesting because I can't imagine, being in certain situations and not having a really nice glass of wine, because it's not really alcohol. It's not really alcohol as a thing. It's not even about getting drunk. It's I really enjoy wine, and if there's a bottle of vodka in the cupboard, I wouldn't reach for that if I was, It doesn't feel to me like I'm trying to get out of pain so much to do it, but it does feel like, I just really, it's like a part of my life. I feel like I can't really imagine a life without it. And I don't want to be in parties and stuff and feel like, oh, I really want to drink, but I can't have one. That's just is so rubbish, the thought of being in that situation.
What I really hear is that you really like wine.
Yeah, I do, yeah. And lots of people do, don't they?
And I really like coffee.
Yeah.
And I also really like chocolate. And I also really like steak. And I also really like a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
The question is whether or not what you're doing is actually creating some sort of negative impact on your life. And whether or not it's like, when you're done. Like there'll be moments in your life when you're just like, I'm done.
Yes, there has. And that's what it was with the smoking.
Yeah. So why would this be any different?
Well, I just wonder, all that time I thought, well, I've given up all these other things. But really, I was always still enjoying a drink. So I wonder if it's like the only other thing that changes or numbs your mind a little bit, brings you it makes me a little bit more present. It makes me a little bit less anxious than I am. I'm kind of always slightly wanting something else if I don't, in social situations, I suppose, if I don't have that. And so there is a dependency. That's what I don't really enjoy about it. It's this dependency thing. And I feel like I'm out of control with it. But I'm not out of control as in I'm drinking. So I do actually, like after 2 or 3 glasses, a lot of the time I don't actually want another one. So it's not like I keep going and keep going. It's just that, and sometimes during the week, I'll think, right, I'm going to just give myself a break tonight. And then I'll be so stressed out by the end of the day, just, just always going. And so maybe there is it. Maybe it is, drinking to get out of pain and stuff. And so then it's not really about the drinking, is it? It's all more about the anxiousness or the stress of the day, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of what struck me when he was saying that. It has more to do with that than the actual drinking itself. So I'm curious about that. I'm curious about your stress of the day and the anxiety. Tell me more about that.
I don't know. I just think since becoming a mum, it's just easy. It's really easy to just drink a glass of wine. You can't just stop and meditate for 10 minutes or like, do you know what I mean? There's nothing you can really do that's an instant relaxer when you've got a baby. And I suppose now I have my own business and stuff like that as well. I'm always like feeling kind of, it feels to me like I'm juggling lots of balls and I can't take my eye off any of them. And so because of that, it's like I know, and I know that there's nothing really to be worried about, or the worrying isn't helping the situation, like that there's nothing really going to go wrong, but it is almost like I'm always on high alert. And so that just takes that out the game. And then obviously makes it worse the next day. You know, but I can't, it doesn't matter that that's the case. It just seems to be easier to just, and I really enjoy it again. I still don't think that I would go for vodka if there was vodka in the cupboard. You know, so there's something about the whole ritual as well with it. It's not just a numbing that I'm going for. It's like enjoyable to drink the wine as well.
I love the fact that you have the awareness.
Well, I don't think about much else. So I feel like I've done it to death, really. But I would love to see something differently. I would love to see it. I'd love to have some peace around it, lasting peace around it. Because it seems so real to me. It seems so real in those moments of like, I don't know, when I'm low or something. I always blame the drinking for being low or snappy or whatever.
Well, what if it's not the drinking that's making you feel that way?
Well, yeah, I think I'm starting to see that a little bit as I've I just think it must do a little bit, don't you? Don't you think it adds to it, or it kind of like, I know that I feel like it just will not help. I'm not saying I'd never be snappy or irritable ever again if I didn't drink, but I do think that it adds to that, like it fuels it a little bit more. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, from what I can tell is that, yes, it can make you feel more tired. And if that's the case, then yes, I guess it could actually lower your consciousness and make you feel more snappy and so forth. But the snappiness and the anxiety that you feel throughout the day, or the stress that you feel throughout the day, has got nothing to do with the drinking.
Yeah.
It's got everything to do with thinking that something other than your thinking is creating that.
So when we say thinking, we mean emotional, you know, because I was listening to Byron Katie the other day, And she said that, you know, thoughts, like you always having a thought, like instantly before you have the feeling. You're always going to have that thought before you have a feeling. There's always a thought there before a feeling. And so obviously her whole approach is to questioning your thoughts, etc. But I suppose those that in those moments, I don't know, I just feel more, I suppose I just feel like unenthusiastic, and it doesn't really feel like it's coming from, it feels more like an ongoing state rather than an up and down experience. Apart from in the morning, I seem to be fine in the mornings when I wake up, you know, when I'm refreshed.
Well, it's interesting because kind of what comes to mind is a conversation I had with somebody ages ago about, you know, tiredness and feeling shit or feeling great. And
Yeah.
all kind of go, yeah, well, I feel tired, therefore I'm feeling shit. Well, actually, have there been moments in your life where you've been tired, but you've actually felt good? You've felt in a positive state of mind, and
Yes.
you're your day.
Yeah.
There have been times where you haven't slept much and you feel like crap, right?
Yeah.
And there are times that you've slept a lot and you felt like crap, and there are times that you've slept a lot and you feel great.
Yeah, that's true.
So it suggests that it's not the sleeping.
Yeah, I suppose I've always, yeah. So what causes more? So what causes more people to be? You know what I'm talking about, though. I don't mean like just, oh, this is going to happen, or what am I going to do about that? Or, in fact, most of my thoughts in the day are making decisions, and I feel like because of the rate of stuff I have to implement, and like the rate of the thinking, it's not even that it's negative, but it's almost like that there's just so much of it that causes a stress.
Tell me a little bit more about this rate. I don't understand.
Like, it's just high paced. It's all over the place. It's
revved
like,
up thinking, you mean?
Yeah, it's revved up, but it's not even necessarily panicked. It's just like there's too much going on to balance.
So what you're effectively saying is there's a lot of thinking all over the place, all of the time.
Yeah.
And you don't feel that you have a sense of space. Is that right?
Yeah, it feels like I can't not do that thinking, because it feels like that thinking is because I'm dealing with this, then this, then this,
Right.
and this.
Understood.
Like I can't shut it off even if I'm not actually on that task at that time, because I'm always like I have to think about things for a long time to know what I'm going to do about them, or like, you know, just keep myself, like, to remind myself and stuff. Yeah, sometimes it feels like if I don't think about things, that they're all gonna, it's all gonna come to, it's all gonna collapse, or I'll forget something, or I won't, it will go wrong.
Oh, okay.
Like I need to be in, I think a lot of what I really like, needing to feel like really in control. Yeah, ridiculous.
I love, because recently I've just seen that there's nothing that we can control at all. Like if we take it from perspective that we really are a conduit for life, Lucy. And the information that we're given is all that we need to actually really focus on. That we don't have to focus on all of the sort of noise or the static. That it's interesting. I was having a conversation with a colleague today, and she was saying, it's like turning the dial. You're either in the static of the radio, or you shift the dial and you're back into that really beautiful feeling again. You're in the static, you listen to that, you listen to the height, all of that thinking that I have to think this and I have to think that, otherwise it's all going to fall apart. Or I can just not take any of that shit seriously, just get on and do the work I need to get done. But do it in a way that actually I can enjoy it. Because after all, you're a mama, you've got a business, and surely this is all about enjoying.
And I do actually. Yeah. I feel like I do. I really enjoy my business. It's actually the time where I can kind of zone in on something. It's almost like meditation itself sometimes. But like, I suppose it's when having George, it's like I only have like a small amount of time to do certain things, like I can only put him in, like the bit in the lounge for a certain period of time before he gets aggy again. So it feels like I'm always rushing and I've got to kind of like...
Right. I get it.
Like, right, I've got this much time. I've got to do that, and that, go. It's like... And do it. Is that anything? I'm coming back.
Yeah. Like, I think that's probably like the number one sentence for every mother. I'm just coming. And like an hour later, Leo's still waiting for his mother. And he's like, "Mummy," I'm like, "Oh my god, that was like an hour ago. I'm just coming." It's really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like, I recently saw something around this for myself, and it doesn't matter what age they are. It's whether it's working for you or not, right? And I realised that the way I had it set up wasn't working for me at all, because I was like you. I was literally like, I've got to finish this, because this was in the summertime. And so Leo had class until 2, and I had a limited amount of time to get the work done that I needed to get done. And then I've got people here at the villa. And it was just so funny because I was just shown something so clearly. Leo and I went away and for a couple of days, and I was like, right, it's a bit of holiday time. I just need to let go of like needing to do this work thing for a bit and just give myself some time with him. Just me and him. And so we went off, and then of course there were a few things that happened when we were away that I had to attend to, because I was running a webinar on the night I got back. Anyway, I get back around 8:30. I've got an hour to get Leo to bed before the webinar starts, and he falls in the pool. He gets all wet, and I'm like, oh God. And so he gets upset about all of this, and by which point it was like 10 to 9. The guests arrive.
Yeah.
They take one look at the villa, they come in, they see the dog, they then turn around and go, we don't want to be here, we want a refund. So I'm having to deal with that. I'm having to deal with Leo and him falling in the pool. I'm then stressing about the fact that I've got this webinar on at 9:30 and I'm never going to make it.
Yeah.
And anyway, I tend to the people. Leo's shouting in my ear, "Mommy, Mommy," and I'm like, I'm really sorry. Shouting child upstairs. So I'm like one ear to him, one ear to them.
Yeah.
What, in the future, worrying about this webinar that I'm not going to be able to get on. And they go. And then I've got to attend to Leo. Now, Leo in bedtime, there's a certain amount of time that we need for him to just be quiet and fall asleep well.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, 10 minutes just wasn't enough, because that's basically what happened. Getting him to like, And the reading the book was really like, I wasn't in the book. I was just already going, I need to get to the webinar.
Yeah.
So I was constantly in the future at that point. And I wasn't in the moment. I wasn't being present to what was going on with Leo or anybody, because I was just worrying about that I needed to do this thing that I wasn't going to have time for. Anyway, I then turn around to Leo and go say, baby, I'm really sorry, but Mummy's got a call. I don't want to call. Like, I don't want you to have a call. Well, why can't you have a call? This is one of my last nights with him. And I'm going, fuck this webinar. Why the fuck did I put it here? Like,
Yeah.
what was I in? And so I did the webinar. Leo fell asleep, so it was all good. Everything kind of worked out. I got a nice little result from it. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Leo then leaves, and I'm left with this sense of what has just happened is not working for me. This just isn't working for me. I don't want to be put in that position again, because my energy is being pulled in 5 different directions, and I can't do my best work when that's happening.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen in order for me to be able to do my best work? How do I need to set it up so that I can actually just really focus on Leo when he's here, and really focus on my work when he's here or when he's not here? How do I set it up so I have times that work for me, so I'm not constantly being dragged to one end to the other because somebody else is demanding my attention, and then I'm beating myself up about the fact that I'm not really doing anything anyway, and then I've got to do the work anyway, and then I'm doing it at night, and that's not really what I want to be doing anyway. Yeah. What I realized is that the first thing that I got clarity on is that this just isn't working for me. It's just not working. Okay, good. I'm glad I've actually found that out. That's really nice to know. Well, what could work? What's possible? How can I do this in a different way? The reality is you've got a little one that demands your attention, right? And he's at home.
Yeah.
And so how could it work for you? Because what I'm hearing you say is actually this isn't really necessarily working for me.
Well, I had some clarity around that actually recently.
Yeah.
I was kind of like in this business building frame of mind. And I was like, just because I had that as what I had to do, I'd made that a fact for me.
Right.
And, you create a business and you grow it, you keep growing it. You know what I mean? It's that kind of mentality. But really, I realised actually something I realised, what I'm coming round to. I wouldn't really say I've decided it, but I'm coming round to the fact that probably that's not actually what's necessary or most important for me, is to be in some kind of like business growth stage, and I think that's really because I just want to do a little bit of work and then enjoy the rest of my time. So that's obviously starting to take a bit of weight off my mind, because I'm realising that, I had all these like money goals and stuff, which aren't necessarily bad. It's just actually I don't necessarily need them. I'm doing fine as I am. And it's like, okay, so I could work more. I could just start, because that then involves a lot of new thought, which I don't need more of at this point in my life. It's like I could just do this and actually just keep ticking around and kind of stay and get into kind of a flow, rather than trying to build more on top of it, which I suppose will help a little bit. But it's definitely that. It's definitely this feeling of like not really settling for what's going on at the moment. Not really settling for it, because it feels like, okay, so we've got to do the next thing and then the next thing. And actually I think that's sometimes unhelpful, you know, rather than just enjoying what I've got and what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I really noticed that. I went on retreat for a week, and the first few days I was like, I've got to work, I've got to do this, I've got all this stuff, because like last week I was off and blah, blah, blah. And then like I just settled into this really, like, the second day I started settling, and then by the third day I was like, oh no, I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what was amazing, Lucy, is what started to emerge as a result of not feeling like I needed to do anything.
Mm.
You know that post that you said, nice post? Well, that's actually what came as a result of like not feeling, like not putting all that pressure on myself to actually do something and miss what's right there in front of me, like having beautiful conversations with the people that were there that turned out to be actually quite fruitful. If I'd been busy on my laptop, I would never have had those conversations or connected with the people that were there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I realised that there's be where you are.
Be where you are, yeah, and be in it and do that properly.
Yeah, be where you are, because first I just, be where you are. And while, yes, you can still do your work while George is in the living room, that's a doable thing. Because if you're in a quiet space, you can do that. But the reality of it is you won't have the same amount of time if he's in the living room to finish off the work you've got to do. And I know that your work is very time-based in the sense of like, you've got deadlines to meet, things have to be done by a certain time. You know, you're working with other people and their content, so they've set up their timelines. So it's all very time-based what you're up to.
Yeah.
And your work specifically is very much like that. So what can you handle? What are you available for? That was such a brilliant question I got asked at the beginning of last week. What are you available for? And what are you not available for?
Yeah, it's a lot of that comes down to boundaries and stuff.
Yes. So what are you available for?
Well, yeah, I would like to just feel like I actually did something that I think I actually made this boundary that I wasn't going to work in the evenings. And actually now I've realised like that's not actually necessary, because what's now happening, because I put that in place, is that I'm rushing in the day to make sure I don't work in the evening. And actually sometimes I can work in the evenings and it's okay. And it's not, but I made this whole thing up about not doing that. So I am available to work in the evenings if I have to, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to have to work when I've got George.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I just want to be able to
be with him
and just do what I have to do next, like, you know, like make food or go out for a walk or take him here or there, because you know, like the odd time I have worked, it just feels like you can't concentrate on both things at all. You just can't concentrate on either, really. And it's just like you're always rushing. It's that feeling of having to get something done when you feel like you shouldn't be having to do it. So that is quite stressful. So if I am able to have the evenings, what then that allows for is that if I have to work later, I can. You know, it's like, but I made that in my head that I don't work past, and then I would get annoyed at myself if I was working in the evening. But actually, that's better than working when George is there.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And at the weekends as well, you know, like it's nice to have weekends off, but I actually enjoy my work. So it is actually nice for Stuart to have George for 3 hours on a Saturday morning and me work for 3 hours. That isn't like, oh, I'm working at the weekend. It's actually like, that's peaceful for me a lot of the time. You know, if I was doing work I didn't enjoy, then it would be a pain. But I do like it. So I think I have to kind of, you know, there's all these rules that you think you should have, like don't work at the weekends and stuff like that. But actually, I set it up this way because I actually enjoy the work that I do. So, yeah, and it's just about like, I think a lot of it is to do with setting goals and trying to keep up with something that's not really, it's not really the right. I mean, I do believe you can do anything, but I also think that the things you think you need to do often make you more stressed trying to do them than just, you know, letting things unfold, like you said.
Yeah, because what comes to mind is you know, if we didn't need to, we didn't buy into this thing of I need to work, or I need to build, or I need to make money, or if that becomes the priority, like we need to make money, we need to work, everything else sort of seems to take a backseat. But then the funny thing is about running a business or running, you know, working for ourselves or whatever is we get to choose how we want to do it. We're the ones choosing. So it's not working, we can choose differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so what I'm really hearing is that you're like, actually, no, I can get to choose differently. I can set my own rules that work for me. And this isn't clear cut. Like, you know, you can experiment with it and kind of go, did that work? Did that not work? Oh, no, that didn't work. Okay, well,
yeah,
this instead. Because what I do know is that when we jam pack everything in, and I know it's also about our relationship to how we jam pack everything in, because you can have a really busy day and it can feel like you're flowing through it, right? But nothing on your mind, it can feel like you're constantly flowing. But the reality is that you've got a 7. He's one, right?
He's one now, yeah.
A 1-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, who needs your attention.
And I love it. I love being his mum. I love playing with him. It's not hard work for me. I really enjoy it. So, I mean, sometimes I think, what am I going to do with him today? Like, but most of the time I really enjoy it. There's definitely something in there about, like, you know, I've got everything I wanted really in life, and then you can't, and then I obsess about something else. That's what I mean. It's like, then I'm just moving on to the next thing already, which is definitely, and in a way I wonder if I wasn't I can't actually imagine not obsessing about something. So the drink thing is, it's almost like, okay, what should I do with my head today? Oh, I know, I'll think about that over and over and over again. As if something's going to come out of it differently. And I can't believe how much I believe what I think. Like, it's just unbelievable. I can't even put it in another way. I just really identify with some thoughts so much that I really think I'm not going to drink again, or I really think I'm not going to worry about that again. And then I do.
But you know what I hear? I hear the awareness that you have this awareness that's what's going on. Like, the fact that you even have the awareness that that's going on is wonderful. Like, that's what I see. I see somebody who has this incredible awareness about what's actually going on.
But it doesn't help. It must help to a certain extent, but it feels like it's not. In the times where I'm writing it, it doesn't.
Of course, I get that, and that's the nature of every illusion that we're in. It happens to you, me, and the world at large.
Yeah, but Stuart doesn't really. Like, Stuart just looks at me like, "Stop giving yourself a hard time, babe." I'm like, okay. Don't know how to do that. And he's like, he just doesn't really get into things like that. He just doesn't obsess about anything particularly. I'm quite envious of that.
Is there a sense of, like, I shouldn't be obsessing, I don't want to be obsessing, I wish I could be, yeah. Like,
well, yeah, because my whole life is then trying to put things in place, like looking up more information about something, or, because it kind of gets, I panic. That's what happens. I get, it's an anxious thing. It's panic. I panic about what I'm obsessing about. It's like something has to be done about this right now. Honestly, I can't tell you. He must have listened to me. Like, Stuart must just think, like, he just must think, what is going around? It just, like, almost like a child in a fantasy land or something. He just kind of goes, okay, babe, like, he doesn't really take it seriously at all, ever. And it's because I'm always backwards and forwards. So it's just this ongoing drama that doesn't really exist in reality. It's just in my head all the time, and I still can't drop out of it, even though I know that. So I can't really know it. I actually believe it. I still do very much believe in it.
I love the fact that Stuart's like that.
Yeah, he's very like that. It's just generally very naturally placid.
I remember having a conversation with Jan Shipman about something or another. And as I was doing so, I started giggling because I realised what I'd been doing. And I giggled even more because we started giggling like stupid little girls. Like, oh my God, I'm just like, oh my God, what have I been up to?
Yeah. I know, it's funny.
And that's it. That's like when she said to me, "That's it, Marina. That's it." The fact that you can laugh at that, silly human. I'm obsessing again. Oh well. Next. Oh well. I'm obsessing again. Yeah. Fuck. Alrighty. I'm obsessing again. All right. Okay. Because actually, as I put on a post yesterday, you feel shit, but there's nothing wrong with you. You just feel shit. You're just obsessing. All right, okay, moving on.
Yeah, but I always feel like, isn't it causing me harm?
What causes harm is then the whole fucking judgment that you place on it.
Yeah.
That's what keeps you stuck in it. But if you're like, oh, I'm obsessing again. No, silly me. Okay.
Yeah, I should have that attitude. It would be nice to have that attitude. I just need a reminder that's actually what's happening, and it's not actually, you know, I'm not just, because it looks to me like I'm completely poisoning my body, and that George is not going to have a mother past a certain age. And, you know, it's this kind of, like, it looks really, really, really bad. I suppose it's because my mum died. I really think that has actually affected me quite a lot. That just the fact of mortality, and that, you know, that can just happen at any point to anyone.
Well, that is true. Can happen to anybody at any moment.
Yeah, so then it doesn't really matter what I do, does it?
What I do know is that we can just lighten up about our silly little behaviours that we have.
Yeah.
And obsessing is a little one of those.
It's a little one of those, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact is, you're aware of this, and you're like, well, how does the awareness help? Well, that you're aware that that's going on. Because I often, you know, are there moments that you catch yourself, Lucy?
Well, earlier I was lying on the grass, and, you know, like, well, we had people round yesterday, and I probably drunk more than I usually drink. And then today I don't really feel that bad, but I'm obviously a little bit hazy, and it's very hot here today. And so I was lying on the grass, and I was looking at George, who's waddling around. He's just tottering at the moment, so he's almost walking properly, but he's not quite there yet. And I was just watching him lying on the grass, and I was just watching, and I was thinking about the facts of a hangover, you know, like, and then there was just these moments where I wasn't really hungover because I was just really, like, relaxed. And so what felt like more tired turned into more like a relaxed, surrendered state, more than it was a, oh, I'm so tired state. You know what I mean? It wasn't that feeling. It was like I was just enjoying the moment. And I did have a moment where I was like, yes, so this suffering thing is a bit of an illusion, isn't it? You know, like, it's not really, it's only there if I'm thinking about the fact that I'm suffering. So yeah, I do catch myself, like, in that, but I wasn't obsessing at that point. These moments of nice thought only happen when I'm already kind of relaxed. It's those moments where I'm like, the craving to have a glass of wine sometimes is so strong. But I wonder sometimes, half of that, I think it's because I'm like, no, can't have any more ever again. You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't actually help the fact that I'm not allowed to drink. I think that creates more of a tension around it.
Well, I know that the cravings are definitely craving thinking. So, like, if we're feeling cravings, then we're thinking cravings, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there are moments that you don't think about it, and you're not having to, like, open a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Sometimes you're thinking about it, and you're like, oh my god, I have to have a bottle of wine. Oh my god. It's like,
yeah.
But have you ever?
I've never not been able to. By the way, whenever I'm in that, it's already a done deal.
Right. But have you ever experimented with just letting the thought pass?
Yes.
And then just
comes back.
And then let it pass, but not take it seriously.
Yeah, but what's interesting, I know what happens in those moments. I don't not take it seriously, but I don't not want it anymore. I don't have in those moments, I can't remember why I don't want one, or can't remember why I'm doing this whole not drinking thing. I don't actually not want it anymore. Does that make sense? It's not like I can't have it though. It's like, I'm going to have a drink. I want a drink, and I'm going to have a drink. There's no, well, I said I wasn't going to. It's like, it's not worth the stress of fighting it.
I can liken it to something like you shout at your kid and then you just fucking beat yourself up about it for the rest of the day, as opposed to just going, oh, just...
Yeah.
Just shouted at my child. Oh well, next. I'll do better next time. Kind of like the lightheartedness around that behaviour, like it doesn't matter what it is really. It's like, oh, human. Oh well. Next. Oh well, oops. You know how kids might spill something.
Yeah.
And we can just go, oopsie daisy, never mind, we'll just clear it up.
Yeah.
Or it could be, motherfucker, what are you doing? Why did you do that? That's my beautiful carpet, and now it's got, puke stains all over it. There's a response to those two things that are going on. And my guess is the more light-hearted approach is actually the one that's possibly more useful.
Oh, okay. And then where my head goes, just so you know, is that then I'm letting myself off the hook. Then I'm allowing myself to, because then in 10 years, if I find out I've got really bad cancer or something, then I'll be like, well, why the fuck didn't you do something about it? That's what will happen. That's what my head says.
I'm not laughing.
No, I know you're not laughing in a bad way.
And this is where this whole thing of priorities comes into, is like, do I want to look after myself?
Yes.
Do I want to take care of this body that I live in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If so, what does that look like?
Well, then when I'm in a moderate frame of mind, what it looks like to me is that I can still look after my body and inject my life with healthy things, even if I'm drinking anyway, because it's like, it doesn't mean that I have to give up everything else in terms of, I can still eat well, I can still take my probiotics, I can still have my cider vinegar and lemon in the morning, and then you think, well, if the people out there that aren't drinking but they're not doing all those other things, and it kind of, I can help my body in lots of other ways if I want to keep up this, vice.
What if you could just experiment with this, Lucy? Once again, a bit like with the business, it's like, what works, what doesn't work? What am I available for? What am I not available for? How would I love it to be? If I made my body a priority, what would that look like? And without having to have the answer, because what I'm feeling is like there needs to be an answer, like I need to have an answer, and I want the answer, and if I don't have the answer, then I'm gonna get cancer. And
you
know what I'm saying? Like I kind of, and it's like, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of what occurs to me is, before I ended the relationship that I was in, I was obsessing about that for months. Months.
Yeah.
Do I not? When do I do it? I had all of these plans. I'm going to do it then. If I don't do it then, when do I do it? Oh, I'm going to do it then, and this is what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to run away at in the middle of the night, and then I'll leave him a note, and then like, that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I had all of these plans. But what actually really happened, it just came out of my mouth one day. Enough.
Yeah.
No letter, no running away at night.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. The answer couldn't be found where I was attempting to look.
Sure. Yes.
I was obsessing because I thought, oh, once I have the answer, then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
once I have the clarity of whether or not this is the right, then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that added bit of pressure.
Yes.
Right? Like that added bit of pressure onto this whole thing wasn't helping at all in any way, shape or form, because I kept putting all of this pressure on myself to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure this out. And then everything will be fine.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, that's exactly how this feels.
Yeah, right? Like
yeah.
Once I figure it out, then everything will be fine. Well, everything's fine already. Like everything is, just because you feel that way doesn't mean there's something wrong.
Mm.
And what I discovered was that when I wasn't obsessing, or when I was thinking about something else completely, like being with Leo, playing with him, or doing something, or going for a walk, or, having a good old ching mad with a friend, something would occur to me.
Mm.
But what I got really clear on was that my obsessing wasn't going to bring me the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, where do we get that idea that it does?
Fuck knows. Well, maybe from school. Maybe you have to figure this out. Like this is you have to find the answer, and it can only come from the intellect.
Yeah.
Probably from school. But the answers cannot be found where we created the problem from.
No.
As far as I can tell. And it's a bit like less is more. If we just, if we don't have to think about the problem to solve it.
Yeah, I just got really quiet there.
So you can relax. It's okay, you can relax. What did you hear?
I don't know. I was just looking at the tree outside. And something just shut down in my mind. What you were saying, obviously, about not figuring it out. Well, you just said something. I don't know. It was just the whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you, Marina.
You're so welcome.
It was very powerful.
Just enjoy the rest of your day. Just enjoy it, right?
I will.
No pressure.
No. Don't not enjoy it. Yeah,
don't not enjoy it. Otherwise, I'm up to you.
Yeah. No, Marina, I'm already out of it, and I'm joking. Yeah, come back.
I'd love to catch up with you, like in a couple of weeks. Just shoot me I'll connect with you maybe in a week or so to see what's up.
That would be lovely.
And to see to see if anything's come from this conversation.
Yeah, I hope it does in a way. I'd really like to feel. Well, I do feel like not really thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just go and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah,
right?
I will. Thank you so much, Marina. Bye. Big kiss. Bye.
And there we have it. Another incredible episode of The Joy of Being. And remember, if you'd like to come on the show to get clarity and flow in an area of your life that you feel stuck in, please email me at marina@marinapearson.com, sharing what you would love to get insights on. If you enjoyed this podcast, you may well enjoy the book as well. You can either download a free chapter, www.marinapearson.com/chapter, where I go into much more depth into how we can create more time and space as mums. And if that doesn't fly and you're more curious about getting the entire book, then you can do that too at www.marinapearson.com/book. Until the next time, remember, you are the joy you seek.